Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Today we have a really interesting topic, interesting collection to review. This one comes from Singapore. This is the collection of Kelvin, 38-year-old working in the CBD of Singapore. Long-time fan of the channel, and I'm sorry Kelvin for making you wait for this review. It's been a bit busy lately. Anyway, we're going to talk about Rolex and Patek, the journey from one to the other, what is right, what is wrong, and where to go from there. So a bit of background on Kelvin. He started his journey about 8 years ago with the Rolex Explorer 2, the 16750. Black dial, which is where I started myself. I started with the white dial, an unpolished white dial, and I really love that watch. And as I said in a video about how to go about collecting, I think as soon as you can get a Rolex, see what the fuss is about, see how it is to own that watch that everybody wants. Why is it so good? Why is it collectible? And then from there you can make up your own mind. They're great watches, and I really enjoy my time with the Explorer 2. So he got it for his 30th birthday, and then he started watching YouTube and Instagram, and he went through the whole gamut of the Rolex range, from the 5-digit Datejust, the GMT Master, Submariner, Steel and Gold Daytona, Day-Date, and whatnot. And then one day, in a dealer's window, he saw the Patek Philippe 5960, the dual complication, the annual calendar chronograph in steel, which I have reviewed briefly on the channel, because it's one of the watches that I had considered a few years ago. And funnily enough, the watch, the market prices are back to those levels after reaching really extreme highs. And at the same time, the dealer also had a 5117 G, white gold or grey gold Calatrava, and both were there full set. And he decided to trade all the Rolex that he still had at the time and go full on with Patek, with this collection of two watches, the 5960 and the 5117. And he shares with me a bit his feeling about the Rolex, taking the train in Singapore, walking in the street, going to the office, and feeling very self-conscious towards his managers, who would recognize the Rolex that he had on the wrist, while he was pretty much assured that they would have no idea what he was wearing when he would put on his Patek Philippe, which is very common. And he really enjoys that pleasure of owning a watch that is really a pleasure to himself, and that is unknown to the public. And it's the same here in Hong Kong. I'd love to have, for example, Rolex GMT Master 2, a modern one, but then you take the subway and you would see middle class mother or office lady, or a fat guy in shorts, all wearing the same Rolex that you've been craving for so long, and then you realize it's not that special. Or if you go to the restaurant wearing the Rolex, you kind of feel a bit like a douchebag, flashing that very recognizable brand under the nose of the waiter. I never enjoy that about the Rolex ownership. And having said that, I love Rolex, and there's a good reason why they're number one. The accuracy, the how solid they are, and how well they wear, the incredible bracelets. I think I would go as far as saying that they are very well priced for what they give you. And it would be very difficult for a new brand to create something, such a good product. The investment would be so huge that the watches would cost a lot more. So really great watches, and I'm sure I will probably own a Rolex for the rest of my life. At the moment I have 4 of them. However, the pleasure of owning a watch that let's say the masses don't know about, it is something very special, and the pleasure of wearing a Patek is absolutely unique. And Kelvin felt the same as I do, and as I'm funnily enough, as I'm recording this, I am wearing my Patek Philippe 6006 G, which started, for the reference, 5000 as a project for Ferrari. You can see my video about that topic on the channel, and just a beautiful dial, beautiful micro rotor, and a beautiful case on this 6006 that I'm wearing. So I'm very familiar with the pleasure that you draw from wearing a watch that most people will think might be Daniel Wellington, because that's the watch that they copy, right? For those shopping mall $50 watches, they copied this Bauhaus look, simple. Making simple is difficult, of Patek Philippe. Kelvin, although in his heart of hearts probably knows he's right, he's still asking me a couple of questions. He's asking me if I think he made a mistake trading his Rolex watches for Patek. He says, as a first-time Patek watch owner, I'm guessing that the Patek buyers are not as numerous in the market as Rolex, and when it's time to sell, it might be more difficult. And I will answer that first by saying absolutely not. Dealers, individuals, they don't. The Patek prices don't fluctuate too much on the dressier pieces, on the non-Nautilus and Patek and Aquanaut timepieces. Usually the prices don't fluctuate too much, so unless you buy really wrong, you're really not going to lose your shirt. And he's asking me about maybe adding another watch. He's talking about the travel time 5134 or the world timer 5110. So yeah, as you know, Kelvin, I did own the 5134G. It was my first Patek, and you're asking me if I lost money on it. I didn't, because when I bought it, I had an incredible deal. So I put an alert for Patek, I think for the 5134 on a Chrono 24, and one showed up here in Hong Kong at 100,000 Hong Kong dollar, which is about 13,000 US. And I jumped on it, and I went straight away to the dealer, and the dealer said, wow, good you came quickly, because there's about 30 people asking about this watch. I probably would price it a bit too low. So the watch was impeccable, one owner, full set. And as you mentioned in your email, Kelvin, the full set of a Patek is something else than a full set of Rolex. The Patek box is gorgeous. All the pamphlets, the booklets, the leather holder, the pouch is just much more special. It's a real pleasure in itself to collect, while a Rolex box, it doesn't matter, you keep it in storage somewhere, but a Patek is something that you almost would want to display at all times, and it really adds a lot of value to the watch, and it's important to have it. Otherwise, if you don't, then it's important to get a great deal, which is what I did with my other Calatrava, the 5296, the rose gold with the sector dial, which I got from Japan at a great price as well. And I get the same pleasure. I also enjoy very much not having the full set, because I just have the watch. I enjoy the watch, and I have no problem. Just be careful that you don't buy a watch that's stolen, of course. But I like the freedom of just enjoying the watch, and not be tied up to a big box, papers, and all that for the rest of my life. Because as you grow older, and I'm feeling this, I'm a bit older than you, 10 years older than you, Kelvin. You start to want to get rid of a lot of the things you've accumulated, and the box and papers, it's you got to put them somewhere, and life moves on, and you have to store all those things. If you don't have your own house yet, but even if you have your house, you never know what can happen. So it doesn't bother me too much, but make sure you get a great price if you don't have the full set. So the 5134, I sold it actually twice. I got a bit tired of it, and I had my money tied up in it, and I wanted to get something else. So I sold it to a dealer, and he couldn't sell it. And I offered him to take it back because I missed it. I gave him 10% extra, and I got it back. And then after a while, I wanted to get something else again, so I sold it again. I actually had to service it once, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to sell it, is because it's 36 millimeter. With the crown guards, it wears a bit bigger, but it's still a fairly small watch, very thin. It's a manual wind, a very short power reserve. Although it's a travel time, you're not really going to travel with it. It's hard to wear. You live in Singapore, it's even worse than Hong Kong with the weather. It's hot all year long, so you will have to change the strap, of course. You can't wear that leather strap. It will be destroyed in a day. And it feels very, very fragile. And I thought, okay, I've enjoyed it. I'll pass it on to the next collector. And I was in a bit of a hurry, so I didn't lose money, but I didn't make a lot of money. I think a lot of dealers overpriced those watches. They're fairly simple Calatravas with a very simple, nice movement. Some of the variations may be a bit more desirable than others. I think the yellow gold is beautiful as well. But don't really buy a 5134 thinking you're going to travel with it necessarily. Now, you're looking at, I know what you're looking at, right? The travel time or the world time. So you think about a time zone thing. The world timer is the grand classic, right, from Patek. 5110, 5130, or whichever reference. They're all nice, depends on your wrist size. And of course on the deal, right? Wait for the right deal. Of course, in the past 4 years, everything got so expensive, but I think prices are coming back. The prices of the 5960 came back, so hopefully the prices of the world timer will come back. And most importantly, many people, many collectors right now will accept very low offers. So don't hesitate on the Carousel app that we share here in Hong Kong and Singapore to look for collectors who want to get rid of some watches in their collections. A lot of people are reducing their collections, and they will take good money rather than wait for the super deal that they might really want. So it's a good time maybe to shop around. But would I actually add another watch to your collection? To be honest, it's so beautiful to see two watches, and they are so complementary, right? You get the steel and you got the white gold. Your white gold 5117, let's talk about it a little bit. What a beautiful watch. And it's a modern one because you got it's 37 millimeters, but you have the crown guard making it a bit bigger and a bit more usable, a bit safer. You have the date, the central second, and that hobnail bezel that captures the attention, and Patek brought it back for the latest Calatrava collection. So in a way, it also feels modern. But then it's also classic, very simple dial with the Roman numerals. What a beautiful, pure watch, and at the same time, it feels modern. And I think a lot of guys watching this are gonna maybe go to Chrono 24 or to Carousel. You guys in the US don't know what it is. It's the buy-sell app that we use here in Asia. Probably gonna look for this reference and actually wonder if there are different dial variations. I know Tim also reviewed the yellow gold version. About that, don't hesitate if you do want to add another watch to go, maybe yellow gold. And the world timer, of course, has different color of dials, and it would add something. But hey, why not staying with the white dials, right? I think most of the 5134s will have a white or silvery dial. It could be your thing, right? And at least at the office, they won't even notice you're changing a watch. You just think that you have your white watch. But speaking of white watch and travel watches, dual time watches, as much as I think it would be super cool and special to just stick to Patek, why not go back to where it all started with the Rolex Explorer 2 16750 with the white dial. Those are so great, they're so usable, and they're not the douchebag Rolex. They're the Rolex that nobody notices. and they're the one that you can travel with. They can take a knock. They have the dual time zone function, the date, and still already a great bracelet. And I would go actually for one of the last references with the slightly updated movement. And then you would still get a very modern version, very usable with the loom, and that could be a great complement. And then you would be the guy with the white dial watches. What a beautiful collection that would be. So I want to reconcile, okay, after all we said, all I said in this video, but I want to reconcile with the Rolex brand, because after all it is a top brand. And would it really hurt to have 2 Patek and 1 Rolex? I don't think so. I just think that the 5134, you might find it a bit too small, a bit too finicky, a bit too underpowered, and it might not do what you think it's going to do for you. Dual timer, beautiful addition, quite expensive, but if that's where your heart goes, then why not? And if you buy it well, you're not going to lose if you decide to sell it, I'm sure. But yeah, consider this. White dial, Rolex Explorer 2, get one of the last references, a super usable watch to complement your collection, and to have something that you can wear at the beach. In Singapore, you probably go to the beach, you travel around in the region to different resorts. Something you can also wear if you travel to Europe or the States, and it's fairly safe, and it doesn't cost a fortune. The prices have come back as well, and that would be quite a beautiful little addition to the collection, and one that doesn't break the bank too much. Most importantly, I really want to congratulate you on making the move and on sticking to those 2 watches. They're just beautiful. It's a great choice. You have the Surf and Turf 5960 with the classic pushers there in steel, the cool design. It's a bit of a jarring Patek Philippe, and a lot of guys like me have considered it and thought, is it beautiful, or is it just the complication that I want to buy? But you complement it with a beautiful Calatrava, so I think it's the yin and the yang, and it works really well together. What is really important when you choose a Patek Philippe is also the collectability. Some of them are made in large numbers, some of them are made for a fairly limited amount of time, and this is why I went for the 6006 in particular. It just comforts you in your choice, and the 5960 was not produced for many years. The less produced model, of course, is the one with the black dial, which looks very nice on the steel. The white one is more common, but among all the 5960s, at least this one is in steel, and it has been discontinued, so it is bound to keep its value, to remain something a bit special. So of course you have the annual calendar, albeit without the moon phase, so this one is more on the sportier side, and you have the chronograph. This one has the vertical clutch, and of course the column wheel, so you have a very precise chronograph with a very good feeling on the pushers. It's a very practical daily type of Patek, very unusual. Most Pateks are not that practical to use. This one has the loom, it has the power reserve, it is in steel, it has a bracelet, so really quite a unique proposition there from Patek, and there's a good reason why they are very popular. And I think this one is going to keep very good value. There's one concession to this one. It doesn't have the running seconds, but you can keep, if you want, the chronograph running. Although the minute counter would also keep on running, so it's not exactly the same as having the running seconds. But when you don't have running seconds, you quickly realize that you don't really mind all that much. There you go. Those are my thoughts. So, guys, maybe give a like to the video for Kelvin. Let him know what you think about how you feel wearing the Rolex, how you feel wearing a different brand, how you feel wearing your longer, or if you have an FP Journe, for example. And of course, there's loads of watches that you can add to this collection. If you don't want people to know what you're wearing, for example, Romain Gaultier makes a fantastic sports watch and dress watches as well. Really like those. Longer would be nice as well. Less sensual than Patek. Longer, obviously, is German, so more Germanic. But yeah, with less sensual cases and the different design language. But they're very nice as well. FP Journe, fantastic as well. But let's not complicate our life too much. Patek is the most established brand. Rolex is the other one. I would go for. I would step back in time and grab a 16750 white dial. Tell me what you think about it, Kelvin, and you guys watching this. Tell me what you think about it, and if you have something interesting to share, or if you want to share your collection on the channel and have me discuss it, you can send me an email at upticwr@gmail.com. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
What's that on your wrist? A Seiko Alpinist? You better up your game. Swiss watch with a